Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Tori. Today is Thursday, October 29th, 2020. And we begin with a pretty dodgy decision by a world champion. Mid-game Tuesday night, COVID test results on Dodgers third baseman Justin Turner came back positive. He was pulled from the game after the seventh inning and told to quarantine. He did until about an hour into the post-game celebration. That's when he joined in, mask on, to hug his teammates and parade around with the trophy. Other photos from the night show him seated close to his team, not wearing a mask. Major League Baseball has launched an investigation saying the now free agent violated coronavirus protocols. Prior to Tuesday, the league had gone nearly 2 straight months without a positive test. Justin Turner is just one of a record 500,000 people in the U.S. alone to test positive this past week. As mounting evidence points toward a second wave of infections, Big Ten football has announced its first cancellation. Saturday's game between Wisconsin and Nebraska is off after the Badgers reported at least a dozen cases among players and staff. The economy is also reacting to the upswing in cases, with the stock market yesterday suffering its biggest daily point drop since June. 2 big American cities, Chicago and Newark, are set to reimpose partial shutdowns as Germany, France, and the Czech Republic join other European countries in closing many non-essential businesses. One place that won't be shutting down? A polling location in Ada County, Iowa, that is specifically for voters with COVID-19. Have your parents been Zoom bombing your classroom? According to a Wall Street Journal report on distance learning, some moms and dads out there have been butting in where they don't belong. Teachers are reporting cases of parents not only sitting next to their kids on Zoom, but asking questions themselves. Some parents are even texting teachers while class is in session, with one instance of a parent interrupting a hybrid class to point out that a student sitting in the actual classroom wasn't wearing his mask properly. While educators admit they need and appreciate help getting students to log in and stay focused, they want to remind parents to respect classroom boundaries, even virtual ones. This weekend marks the end of daylight saving time. While everyone's fast asleep at 2 a.m. Sunday morning, most of the northern hemisphere will be falling back 1 hour. And while the idea of an extra hour of sleep is exciting to parents, Dr. Craig Canapari, a pediatric sleep specialist at Yale Hospital, says a lot of kids struggle with the time change. He's got a simple plan to soften the blow, but it needs to start tonight. He advises parents to let their kids stay up a half hour later for the next 3 nights, then move them back to their original bedtime on Sunday night. This way, the effects won't be so severe. He also points out that this weekend's change is actually good for teens, who often struggle to fall asleep, since their new normal bedtimes will better align with their natural sleep rhythms. Deep in the heart of Texas, an unusual baby possum is getting a second chance at life. According to Gail Barnes, the director of the South Plains Wildlife Rehabilitation Center, the tiny creature, who was rescued running around a used car lot, has no fur and would have had a tough time surviving in its natural habitat. Barnes suspects the little critter suffers from alopecia, a condition that causes hair loss in mammals. Possums are the only marsupials, or pouched animals, in North America, and like a lot of wildlife, need fur to keep them warm. After news of her plight leaked out on Facebook, offers of mini knitted sweaters came pouring in. However, it looks like the smooth-skinned visitor is set to become a permanent fixture at the rehab center, with her unique features making her a good ambassador for education. That's it for KidNuz. Now our KidNuz quiz. Some teachers are reportedly asking parents to resist the urge to what? Zoom bomb their kids' classes. Which Los Angeles Dodgers player tested positive for coronavirus? Third baseman Justin Turner, who had to leave Game 6 in the 7th inning. What's the name of a medical condition that can cause hair loss? Alopecia. What is Ada County, Iowa doing for its voters this election? It's staffing a polling place for COVID-positive residents who want to vote in person. In One for the Road, a 104-year-old grandmother wasn't going to let anything get in the way of seeing her family. Margaret Hansen, who lives in a nursing home on an island off Denmark, wanted to see her 82-year-old son's new home and visit with her grandkids, who live over 100 miles away. The problem? She can't ride in a car for that long. So instead, the resourceful centenarian hired a private helicopter and sat on a garden cushion for the relatively short flight. After being pampered by her family, she returned home later that day. Hansen hinted this first trip might not be the last, saying, "I don't know what it costs, but it was worth the money." Next stop, a trip to see her daughter. Before we go, don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Now it's time to turn it over to Kim for today's KidNuz Shoutouts.
Thanks, Tori. First, a big hello to the entire 5th grade teaching team at Hidden Hills in San Ramon, California, and also to Mrs. Rustad and her students at New Folden Elementary in New Folden, Minnesota. And we send birthday wishes to Max and Mason in Melbourne, Iowa, Arrow in Portland, Oregon, Isaiah in Battle Creek, Michigan, Kadiri in Astoria, Oregon, Harrison in Scottsdale, Arizona, Rainey in Matthews, North Carolina. In California, we have Natalie in Poway and Jack in San Francisco. And in Canada, there's Libby in Port McNeill, British Columbia, and Alex in Ottawa, Ontario. Thanks for listening, everyone. We hope you tune in for more Kid News tomorrow morning.